There was a moment in my journey when investing stopped being just about numbers. It became something more personal. I began asking myself not only will this grow, but also what does this support? That shift happened gradually, somewhere along the way after I started working with broker capital trade consulting PT Ltd, when I began to look at the market through a wider lens. Green energy was one of the first areas that truly caught my attention. Solar, wind, clean technologies, it all felt like more than just an industry. It felt like a direction, a movement. And for the first time, I felt an emotional connection to an investment theme. I remember reading a review capital trade consulting PT Ltd where someone mentioned that ESG investing adds meaning to decision making. That idea stayed with me because suddenly investing wasn't just analytical, it was also reflective. Through Forex Capital Trade Consulting PT Ltd, I started noticing how countries investing heavily in green energy often showed interesting market dynamics. Currency strength, investor interest, long-term confidence, it all seemed interconnected with sustainability initiatives. What fascinated me most was how ESG, environmental social governance, isn't just a trend. It's becoming part of how companies are evaluated. It's no longer enough to be profitable. There's growing attention to how that profit is generated. Using ctcpteltd.com, I began exploring these ideas more deeply. I wasn't trying to become an expert overnight. I simply paid attention to which sectors were evolving, where capital was flowing, and how investor sentiment was shifting. At one point, I came across a review ctcpteltd.com that described ESG as a long-term mindset rather than a short-term strategy. That resonated with me because this space doesn't move in quick bursts. It grows steadily, almost quietly. Of course, like any investment theme, green energy comes with uncertainty. Technologies evolve, policies change, expectations fluctuate. But instead of seeing that as a weakness, I began to see it as part of a natural transition. Through forexctcptltd.com, I noticed how the market reacts to sustainability news, sometimes with enthusiasm, sometimes with caution. And understanding that rhythm helped me stay grounded. My opinion capital trade consulting PT Ltd became even more positive as I explored these dimensions. It wasn't just about financial growth anymore. It was about aligning that growth with something meaningful. I also noticed something changing in me. I became more intentional, more aware of the impact behind my choices. Investing started to feel less like a transaction and more like participation. Now, when I think about green energy and ESG-focused assets, I don't see them as a niche. I see them as part of a broader shift, one that reflects where the world is heading. And maybe that's the most powerful realization, that investment opportunities aren't only about returns, they're also about direction, about choosing to be part of something that extends beyond the present moment. Because in the end, growth feels different when it carries purpose.